Christina Rizakos here. I'm a daycare business mentor and strategist and the founder of ProfitableDaycare.com. And today we are talking about automation, delegation, and outsourcing, and what the heck all that means and why is it important for you as a daycare business owner. So chances are, if you're a daycare business owner, one of the things that's really valuable for you is freedom. So whether that's freedom of time or financial freedom, that's, I believe, one value that every business owner has. And today I wanted to discuss a few things that you can do for your business, for your childcare center business, no matter how big or no matter how small it is, that can actually free up your time so you don't feel like you always need to be in the office, morning, day, night, getting things done, so you don't feel overwhelmed or anxious, or maybe you feel like time is running out. I strongly suggest that you listen up if you are feeling burnt out, overwhelmed, if you feel like this whole business thing kind of feels like a job and that's not what you signed up for. There's a few things that you could do for your business that can actually free up your time so that whether you're in the office or you're not, your daycare is still running. How cool does that sound? So 3 things I want to discuss with you today: delegation, outsourcing, and automations. So as a business owner, I know most of us struggle with, giving up control over things, right? Like we want to do everything in our business. We want to be involved in every single little detail. But the truth is that you shouldn't feel like you're the jack of all trades. And if you are feeling like that, chances are that you're not delegating, outsourcing, or have systems in place to free up your time so you can focus on your priority, which should be, growing your business, having a vision, trying out new ideas, new things for your business, maybe setting up systems to make sure that you have more time to do things that matter to you. So let's talk about tasks that you should not delegate to anyone. So whether you are a director or the business owner, there's a few things that should be your main priority, and that should not be outsourced to anyone. So first thing is, as a business owner, I believe that you are the visionary. I think that's your number one priority. No matter how big your business is, no matter how small it is, no matter how new you are in the field, you need to be the visionary. You need to be the one that has a clear idea of where you want your business to go, a clear idea what your mission is, what kind of people you want to bring into your business family. I think as a business owner, that's the number one thing you should always be focusing on. Now, there's a few other things as well. So anything that has to do with hiring staff, anyone that you bring into your business, anyone that you have working for you that's going to be representing you should always have a say in, obviously. As a business owner, your priority should also be to set up systems, whether you want to call them rule books or procedures or policy booklets, whatever you want to call them. Your priority should be to actually set up these systems as soon as possible so that anyone else that follows you in your business knows exactly what to do and how to do it because you've already done the work for them, right? As a business owner, I also believe that you should invest in your personal growth as well as your staff's growth. You want to encourage your staff to be the best they possibly can be. You want to encourage them to learn every day, to stimulate them professionally, to make sure that they feel important, they feel valuable in your daycare. And for yourself as an owner as well, you need to be constantly learning new things, new techniques, new skills, in order to move your business forward, right? So I think these are things that you cannot delegate or outsource to anyone. So what are the 3 things that you can do to free up your time? So delegation, automation, and outsourcing. So let's start with outsourcing. For those of you that don't know, outsourcing is when you actually hire what we call virtual assistants to do something for you in your business. Now, this can be anything, right? You don't necessarily need to know the person personally to hire them. There's so many websites out there, so many companies that have qualified, skillful virtual assistants that have knowledge in so many fields. So a few things that you can actually outsource in your business. Anything that has to do with website creation, website programming, logo creation, anything that has to do with creating a letterhead for your business or a newsletter, templates, proofreading any document that you may be writing, such as your policies or your procedures. If you invest in Facebook ads, which I hope you do, you can actually hire a virtual assistant to take over all that and actually report to you every few days how your ads are going. They could set it up for you. Super helpful. Anything that you aren't skilled at doing, because we have many skills as business owners, but we don't necessarily know how to do every single little thing, right? So, and the last thing you want to be doing is, it's okay, I'll learn how to do it, because then you're actually focusing, you're taking time away, focusing on something that someone else can do for you and most probably can do a better job than you learning and spending your time and your money and your energy when you could be doing something else that's actually moving your business forward, right? So anything that you're not skilled at doing, if you have a website and you actually collect email addresses and you're growing your list, your wait list on there, you could actually hire a virtual assistant to keep an eye on the list once a week. If you have an availability, you could actually reach out and they could send you the next person in line. There's so many ways you could use a virtual assistant. They are skilled, they are professional, and again, there's a few websites that I love using. One of them is called fever.com and the other one is called upwork.com. Amazing people, and again, easy and not as expensive as you would think. You could actually hire someone to be your virtual assistant for around $4 to $5 an hour. So something to think about. So another thing I want to talk to you about is delegation. Now, delegation is a little bit different from outsourcing because you're actually delegating tasks to your employees or people that are around you, okay? So it's not a stranger from another country, it's actually someone that you come in contact with almost every day. A few things that you can delegate is anything that has to do with, let's say, for example, decorating the daycare for events, parties, birthday parties, or holidays, Halloween. Instead of everyone doing their part, or maybe you taking on, the responsibility of decorating your center, why not ask one of your staff members to be in charge of all decorating? So this can be one of your employees that just loves decorating, that's into art and painting and all that stuff. So you know that they would excel if you actually delegated this task to them, right? Another thing you could actually delegate also is anything that has to do with inventory, or making sure that the med boxes are up to date, making sure that everything is pinned up well on the bulletin board and that it's updated constantly. So when it comes to delegation, I have a few systems set up that free up a lot of my time. One thing that I truly believe in is hiring a head educator. And this is a huge game changer, because when you are not there, so when you're physically not in the daycare or in the office, you can actually have someone there that's kind of second or third in command, where if parents have questions or concerns, if someone pops in for a visit, if parents need to give them something, or maybe the girls have a question about scheduling, or anything that has to do with day-to-day operations, you need to have someone there that you trust, that's great with the kids and awesome with the parents, and there's obviously a real team player that you can trust, and they can be your second or third in command. Things that I delegate to my head educator are anything that has to do with inspections, meaning I've created an inspection sheet where once a month she'll take it and walk around the daycare and kind of check off what's up to code or what we have to work on or what we need to change. Another thing that she's in control over is schedules. Everybody's schedule is pinned up. She creates them every week. If there's questions or concerns, the other staff members ask her when I'm not there. We have weekly meetings around 10 minutes where I'll just ask her how the week was everything okay? Is there anything I should know about? Just a real game changer. So make sure that you look into hiring a head educator. And again, it could be someone that has been working with you for a long time that you absolutely trust and love and would feel comfortable in assigning, delegating, specific things to, or it could be someone brand new that you just want to create this position and hire someone from the get-go that, as soon as they walk in the door, everyone knows that she's the head educator, right? So something to think about. Another thing that I like to do when it comes to delegation is I like to delegate certain things to my employees according to their strengths and their skills. So not all of us have the same strengths or the same skills, and that's totally fine. So if you have someone that's much more organized, maybe you could delegate something that has to do with organization and your daycare. If you have someone that loves art and just is very into painting and drawing and decorating, maybe assign them the task of decorating the daycare when it's holidays or birthday parties or Halloween or graduation events. Just slowly taking things off your to-do list and assigning them to people that you trust and that are amazing at it, that are skillful and that they enjoy doing these things. There's no reason why you as the business owner needs to be decorating your center for Christmas or making sure that that you have enough toilet paper for the month. I mean, if you have someone that's in charge of the kitchen, delegating something to them, such as taking inventory of, toilet paper and soap and whatever's needed for the daycare to run should be one of their tasks, because it just makes sense. They're in charge of the kitchen. Why would you go in and basically just take over and do that, right? So find people's strengths and just assign them skills that that they're going to enjoy doing and that they're good at and that you don't have to worry about anymore. So automations. Now, sometimes automations are tricky because a lot of people feel that there's no place to be robotic in a daycare, and I agree. When I talk about automation in a daycare, especially in the office, what I mean is having things in place to make sure that your daycare is running even though you're not physically there. Chances are that if you're a business owner, one of the values that you hold dear to your heart is freedom of time, financial freedom. So you don't want to feel like if you're not in the office, things are not going to get done, right? So one of the things that I would definitely try to automate is anything that has to do with the wait list. So you don't have parents calling you every 2 minutes, disrupting you. Maybe you're not in the office and you missed their phone call. Find systems where parents can actually put their kids' names on a waiting list on their own, whether you're there or whether you're not there. For example, I believe that on your website, and every single daycare should have their own website, there should be a section where parents can sign up their child on your wait list. You can actually create a form where you have all the information, the date of birth, the day that they want to start their child in your center. You could ask them questions. You could even upload a copy of your policies and educational program to make sure that this parent is a good fit for your center. Another thing that I would add on my website is a newsletter pop-up where anyone that's interested in your daycare can actually just enter their information, and every month when you send your newsletters, they'll get all the information and they'll know exactly events, they'll know if there's openings. So that kind of prevents people from calling and asking the same questions over and over. Another thing that I would invest in when it comes to automation is a software that can take care of communications with parents. So whether that's sending a message to the parent to tell them how their child's day went, or maybe you need something from them. whether that's a system where you can actually check in your child and check them out of your daycare using an app. There's so many cool things out there, and I will do a video on this later on. There's softwares out there that can actually automate registration processes. They could automate payments and receipts and invoices. I mean, there's so many things out there, especially that are geared to childcare centers. So I will do a video about this a little bit later on, but that's something to think about if you have the budget for it and if you want to invest in automating your registration sheets and anything that has to do with payroll and anything that has to do with accounts receivable. So that's another thing you could automate, definitely. And the third thing that you can automate is setting up systems from the get-go. So as soon as you take over a daycare, or maybe you just, you're starting it yourself, or maybe if you're feeling really stressed right now and you know that something needs to be done, think about your systems. And when I say systems, what I mean is, do you have systems in place where, let's say someone drops in unannounced to visit your daycare? Do you have systems in place? Is your staff aware of these procedures? Do they know what to do? If someone is just newly hired and they're there for 3 months, are there systems in place to help them integrate? Is there something for them to look at, something to read over? Same thing for your educational program and your policies and procedures for the parents and for all your staff. Are you clear when it comes to, let's say, a child is sick, or an employee wants to take a day off, or vacation time, if someone gets hurt? Do your people, do your staff members, do your parents know what to do? And if they don't, or if there's room for improvement, I strongly suggest that you sit down and make this a priority to put systems in place where you feel better about not being in your center, because you know that you've done the work, everyone is on board, and you know that it's clear enough so that whether you're there or you're not there, everyone knows what they need to do. So those are a few things that I do in my business to decrease my workload. Again, I've been in business for over 15 years, and when I first started, it was not the case, not at all. And that's why I burnt myself out. That's why I started being very anxious and overwhelmed, because I felt as though if I wasn't physically there, that my business wouldn't run. And that was something that I don't want any business owner, any daycare owner to ever experience. Because there are ways you can decrease your workload as a business owner, and you can actually focus on what you're good at, which is hiring the right people, which is improving yourself, encouraging your staff to improve themselves, learning as much as you can, trying out new things, new ideas, marketing your business, right? And setting up systems to make sure that everyone's experience in there is just flows with ease, and there are no huge problems, especially when it comes to little things that could have been automated or delegated or outsourced, right? So if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I invite you to sign up for our newsletter at www.profitabledaycare.com. I send out a weekly newsletter to everyone on the list, and I just teach and I train and I give freebies as well. So make sure to check that out, put your name on the list. Follow us on Facebook and on Instagram, and of course, sign up to our channel. Bye guys.